Daf Nun Hey Amud Aleph. We'll start Nun Dalet Amud Beis, 3 lines from the bottom. The 2 dots. V'amar Yehuda Shleisha Dvorim Hamarach Ben Marichem Yama. There are 3 things that if a person is Marachem Yama Shneisav Shalada. If he prolongs these 3 things, they prolong his life. Hamarach b'tfilah, if he davens, he prolonged davening. Hamarach al shulchanai, he delays his meal, he stays longer in his meal. We'll see why in the Gemara shortly. Hamarach b'basic kisei, he stays longer time in the basic kisei. Frank the Gemara v'hamarach b'tfilah mal yusahi. He mean to say that a prolonged davening, that's a mal yusa, that's considered a good thing. V'amar v'chiyah barav v'amar v'yechanan kol hamarach b'tfilah uma'ayin ba soif bali dekev leiv. If a person lengthens his tefillah, he's ma'ayin, he examining, looking into it to see that if his tefillah is going to be answered. He comes to cave leiv. He comes to being disappointed and have a broken heart. Shenemar techels memushcha machlas leiv. A lengthy davening brings to a machal leiv, to a sickness of the heart. He becomes sad. There are 3 things that are a person's averas, remind one of a person's averas. And in the din, in the Bezdin Shalmala, then his avoinus will be reminded. If a person passed by a wall that's not secure, that's tilted, so it's a sakana. If a person puts himself in a makom sakana, then that's menaka from his chuyos. So it's reminded of his averas are being reminded that now he needs special merit to save him from this dangerous situation. He put himself in a dangerous situation. That's maskir navenai shalom. V'in tefillah, if a person davens a lengthy davening, u'meiser din al chavera l'shamayim, and if a person in shamayim, he's meiser din, he has a complaint against somebody else, and he asks the Rebbeinu Shalom to judge. So Rashi explains, he thinks that he is such a big tzaddik, he's so confident that he will be victorious, to be zeicha b'din, he's meiser din chavera shamayim, that kaiva, that will now be masker his averas, his own averas. So you see over here that it's not a good thing to have the lengthy tefillah to be that he davens a long tefillah. And we were saying before, Rabbi Yehuda said that that's marich and yomav. The Gemara answers, there's a difference if he davens a lengthy davening and he's ma'ayin ba, now he's waiting to see that his tefillahs are answered, and meaning he thinks to himself that his tefillahs are worthy of being answered. He davened with such kavanah, he davened such a long davening, the Rebbeinu Shalom should answer his tefillahs. So that has the opposite effect. If a person has that element of gaiva, of arrogance, he thinks that he's so worthy that his tefillahs should be answered, it has the opposite effect. But if a person davens, he davens kavanah, he davens with the proper kavanah, not anticipating any result, he's not looking to see if the tefillos will be answered, then it is marich and yomav. He should just have rachmim b'beitech b'Hashem, and whatever Hashem, whatever will be. He is davens with kavanah, he davens to the Rebbeinu Shalom, and he's not waiting to see in anticipation that the tefillos will be answered. He has bitachon in the Rebbeinu Shalom that the Rebbeinu Shalom will do what's the right best thing for him. So what we said, another thing that's Marach Yom Rav Yehuda says is Marach Shulchanai. He delays himself at his meal. What's the mile of that? What's the benefit of that? Dilma also ani v'yayvle. Because by staying at the meal a longer time, there's more likelihood that an ani will come and he'll give him food and he'll support the ani. And so therefore, there's a greater likelihood that he'll give that food stagger to the ani. It's marich and yama. T'chsiv hamizbeach is shalosh amas gavoy. It says that the mizbeach was 3 amas high. Uksiv, and the pasuk says vayidaber lai zeh hashulchan asher lifnei Hashem. And then the pasuk continues, says, and this is the shulchan that's lifnei Hashem. So pasuk v'mizbeach. The pasuk starts off describing this as the mizbeach. V'siyem b'shulchan. And then it says, shulchan, then it calls it a shulchan. Why does it call the Mizbeach HaShulchan? Rav Yochanan Rav Elazar Dami Tarvai, the answer calls, Man Shabeis HaMikdash Kayim, Mizbeach Mechaper Al Yisrael. When there's a base of Mikdash, so the Mizbeach, the Korbanos, or Makar Korbanos on the Mizbeach, that's Mechaper from Bnei Yisrael. V'achshav, however now, Shulchan, Shalom Mechaper Alav. It's called a Shulchan. Our Shulchan is like a Mizbeach. So now when there's no base of Mikdash, the shulchan is the mizbeach, it's mechaper. So when we have our meals and we give from our food to aniyim, we support others with our meals, that is a kapor for us. Therefore, Rav Yehuda says, marichin lo yomav. The third thing he said is Amarach v'beis hakisem. So practically more of Amarach v'beis hakisem al yusi. Is that considered beneficial? I v'altanya asar dvarim avim es dam lidei tachtainis. 10 things bring a person to hemorrhoids. If he eats the leaves of reeds, vale gefanim, or of grapevines, velule gefanim, or the shoots of grapevines, or marigi behema, or the rich part of the meat from an animal like the tongue, etc. Vishidr shel dag, or the spine of a fish, v'dag maliach, shenu, which is called sarkas, salted fish, which is not cooked completely. V'ashayis shimrei yayin, or if he drinks the sediments of wine, mekaneach b'sid ubacharsis, or if he's mekaneach with lime or with pots, with pottery, but mekaneach b'tzror shekanach b'chaver, if he uses in the basic kisei for kinuach, the stone. In those days they didn't have paper, so the stone that somebody else used. Or some say that even he squats, he suspends himself in a lengthy period of time, that also brings lidei tachtonius. More answers like kasha, hadamarach v'toli, hadamarach v'leitoli. It's only considered detrimental if he squats, but otherwise, if he's marach, it's considered to be beneficial. Ki hadam r'la hamatronisul Rav Yehuda bar Eloi, she said to him, panech doimem l'megadle chazirim u'malami berivis. You look so healthy, and you look like you have no daigas. You look like a person who has a parnosa, he makes a lot of money and without working hard. Like Megadli Chazirim, he raises Chazirim, or he lends with ribis, with interest. So these types of people, they didn't have to work so hard. They didn't have daigas, and they made a lot. They had made a lot of money. They had a parnosa, and that's what you look like. You look like a person that has no daigas, that has no worries. Believe me, like a shua, that for us Yidden, both are also. It's also, both of these things are also. So certainly I'm not engaged in that. Ella, why do I have this appearance? Because Ella Esrim va'arba beis akise ikamish b'zoy lebei midrasha. There are 24 bathrooms. In those days they had public bathrooms. There are 24 bathrooms from where I was lodging on the way to the base of Medrash. On my way, walking to the base Medrash, I use all of those bathrooms. So therefore, that shows that therefore that was so beneficial to his health, and that's why he had that appearance. On the other hand, there are 3 things that shorten the person's life. What is that? If a person is called to read from the Sefer Torah and he doesn't, he refuses. Or they give him the kais shel bracha, the bench, and he doesn't. Or if he is a leader that is overbearing and he puts a burden on the tzibur. Those 3 things shorten his life. More explains. Sefer Torah likreis v'nekara. If it's Sefer Torah and he doesn't read the chsiv, ki uchayecha v'orach yamecha. The Sefer Torah is our life. So we make an inference, learning Torah is a life. And the opposite, we make an inference, a diuk, and therefore not learning Torah, refusing to learn from the Torah, that shortens his life. If they give him the kais for benching and he doesn't bench, so the way Rashi explains it is because the one who's given the kais shel bracha, he gives a bracha to the balabais. So if they give a guest the kais shel bracha to mevarach, and he doesn't bench, and he's not giving a bracha to the balabais. And again, the same type of inference. The ones who give you a bracha, so it's a bracha to Avram Avinu. The ones who give a bracha, they will have a bracha. The inference is the ones who don't will have the opposite effect. Similarly, from the Zera Avram, from Yidden, if someone was supposed to give a bracha to the host, if he gave the bracha, he himself will get a bracha. But if he doesn't, it'll be the opposite effect. Why did Yosef die so young before his brothers? He was overbearing. And he conducted himself with barabonus and lording over them, and he had shortened his life. For 3 things you need rachmei shamayim. Melech tov, a good king; shana tova, a good year; more specifically, a good year dealing with the rains. Of course, we need rachmim for a good year, but more specifically, that the rains, don't think that the rains come automatically and the harvest will come automatically. These are things that need rachmim, as more will speak out, we'll see. V'cholam tov, and a good dream. Melech tov d'chsiv palgei mayim leid melech biyad Hashem. So it's in the hands of Hashem, the heart of the king, and his decisions and the way he conducts and the way he rules over the nation. Biyad is biyad Hashem. Shana tova d'chsiv tamid einei Hashem lekecha bo mi reishis Hashana v'anachris Hashana. So Hashem's eyes are on it. Meaning, don't think that in Eretz Yisrael in particular, don't think that it's all teva, it's all nature. It's in the hands of Hashem. Einei Hashem. So we need rachmim that there will be the rains, that the harvest will be good, a harvest will be abundant food. So in this context, the Pasha Pshat and Tachlimeni is to give me strength, but here we darshan from a chaloim that you gave me a good dream and you gave me chayim. Three things Kadosh Baruch Hu himself declares on them. Velohein Rav, if there's a famine, Vesaiva, or if there is a year of where there's a harvest, there's abundance, Uparnas Taif, and a good leader. Rav Dechsi Kikor Hashem L'Rav, Hashem calls for the famine. Saiva Dechsi Vikarase Ela Dogim Veherbesi Yosef, and I'll make abundance from the grains, the harvest. Parnas Toiv, a good leader, Dechsi by Dabra Hashem Al Moshe Lema Rei Karasi B'Shem B'Tzala. It says, Rei Karaz, I called B'Tzala. So B'Tzala, who built the Mishkan, he was the leader. Hashem called him. It was appointed by Hashem. Another aspect of the leader is that when you appoint a leader on the nation, on the people, it should be with their consent. Shenema Ru'u Kar Hashem B'Shem B'Tzal. It says Ru'u Kar Hashem B'Tzal. Look. So what is this Ru'u? Amar LaKadosh Baruch Hu L'Moshe Moshe Hagan L'Lech B'Tzal. Ru'u. Look into the matter. Is B'Tzalel, is he appropriate in your eyes to be the one to lead the building of the Mishkan? Amar Lo Ribono Shel Olam Moshe Rabbeinu said, Im Lefanecha Hagan L'Fnei Kol Sheken. If it's fitting in your eyes, certainly it's fitting in my eyes. Nevertheless, this is the proper conduct, and now speak to Bnei Yisrael and get their consent for B'Tzalel to be the leader. Is B'Tzalel appropriate in your eyes? Is he fitting in your eyes? If he's fit in your Rebbeinu Shalom, in your eyes, certainly in our eyes. But nevertheless, it is the appropriate conduct, the proper conduct to consult with the people before you appoint the leader. B'Tzalel, why was he called B'Tzalel? Why was he given that name? Al Shem Chochmasa Nikra, because of the Chochma that he had, that's why he was given that name. B'Shal Shamar Lei Kadosh Baruch Hu L'Moshe Leichem or L'B'Tzalel Asli Mishkan Aron V'Kelim. So the Rebbeinu Shalom said to Moshe, tell B'Tzalel to bring, and it was said in this order, Mishkan Aron V'Kelim. Build a Mishkan Aron V'Kelim. Halach Moshe v'Hafach, and Moshe turned it around. V'Amar Lo Asay Aron V'Kelim Mishkan, and make the Aron first the Aron, then the Kelim in the Mishkan. Amar Lo Moshe Rabbeinu min Haga Shel Olam Adam Boina Bayis v'Achar Kach Machnas Seicha Kelim. So B'Tzalel said, Moshe Rabbeinu, the minig olam is before you put furniture into a house. 40-foot things into the house. You build a house. You have to have the house first. Va'ata oimer asili oren v'kelim mishkan. Now you're telling me the oren, kelim, and mishkan. You're telling me to build the kelim before the house. Kelim shani yoisel hechanach nisan. So where am I going to put them if I don't have the mishkan first? Shema kach amar locha kodesh baruch asa mishkan oren v'kelim. Perhaps the Rabbeinu Shalom told you a different order. Perhaps he told you the mishkan first, then the oren and kelim. Amaloi, Moshe Rabbeinu said to him, Shema b'tzel kel hayisa, that were you in the shadow of Hashem, that you knew what the Rabbeinu Shalom told me? V'yadata? So that's why it was called b'tzel kel. Al Shem is chachma. Taisus asks, where do we see that this is the order that was given, that the Rabbeinu Shalom told him first the Mishkan and then the Aron? So Taisus says, the Pasuk Kisisa says, that it says as oil moed ves Aron la'eda. So first it says the oil moed, and then it says the Aron. Continue on with B'Tzalel. Omar Yuram Rav Yodea B'Tzalel Tzarf Oisia is Shenivra by Shemayim v'Aretz. He knew how to combine the letters with the letters of Kedusha that the world was created with, and he knew how to combine those Oisias and make a creation. The Mishkan was a form of a creation. It was built, but it was also a creation. It says that he was filled with Chochma Tuna Das. So the creation of the world was Chochma and Tuna, and those were the attributes that B'Tzalel had. And B'das, Tahimas were Nifku, the depths were cleaved. Kodesh Baruch only gives Chacham to one who has Chacham. To a Chacham, he gives Chacham a Shenema, Yahav Chacham Salach Hakimin, Umanda Aleida Bina. So it's for the ones that the Chachim, they have the Chacham. Shama, Rav Tachliva Bar Rav, Armi Kamei the Rebavo, Amalei, Atun Mahasan Masnisalo. You learn this principle from that pasuk, from the pasuk in Daniel. Anan mehach masninala. We learn it now from the pasuk in the Torah that says, "V'leiv kol chacham leiv nosati chachma." In the leiv of chacham leiv, who gets chachma? One who's a chacham leiv. Where does the first chachma start off? If Hashem gives chachma to chacham, where does the first chacham start? Where does chacham begin with? So the Nefesh Chaim says that Reishi Chacham Yiras Hashem, person has Yiras Hashem, he's given Chachma, and then he's given more Chachma. If he's Mispalel, he has more Yiras Hashem, he has more and more Chachma. Rav Chisda Kol Chaloim. So the Gemara is going to go into a lengthy discussion of dreams. So Rav Chisda said, Kol Chaloim V'loi Tavis. Any dream, but a dream where a person is fasting in the dream is a bad sign, a bad omen. A dream that is not interpreted is like a letter that's not read. So it's like a sealed envelope. If the letter is not read, if it's not interpreted, it doesn't take effect. The dream itself doesn't come to fruition. Not every dream is everything happens the way it's said in the dream. Not a good dream. And a bad dream is not Mekayim Kula either. Meaning, not everything in the dream, good or bad, it doesn't. The good is not going to be completely good, and the bad is not going to be completely bad. He said a bad dream is better than a good dream. Meaning, a bad dream encourages a person to do tshuva. A good dream, person could become complacent with that. So a bad dream has a better effect on the person than a good dream. The bad dream, the sadness that he has, that helps to take away the effect of the dream. Since he feels sad and he's suffering with the worrying about the dream, that in itself is the einish, and that will mitigate the punishment that the dream foretold. And the opposite is the happiness that a person has in a good dream, that could be his reward, and therefore the effects of the dream will not come to fruition because he had the good dream. Amar Rav Yosef, Chelma Teva, a good dream, I feel the D, b'dichusa ma'achasle. Rav Yosef, who himself, he suffered very much because he was blind, he said, even for him, a good dream, the happiness that he would have, even though he's a person that didn't have so much of the simcha in chedrusa, but that happiness will could negate the effects of the dream. He said a bad dream is worse than makas, than lashes. A bad dream is made for a person to have yiras Elokim. So Elokim also shir l'fanav hamarav bar Chana amrav yachan zechaloim. That's referring to a bad dream, and therefore that will bring him to be machzor b'tshuva.